Shin Godzilla.
I love you.
Shin Godzilla
2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow.
Hello world, it's Goji for you once again. Hope you guys are doing well. Today I got another video for you guys. Talking about some new news. Well, it's kind of new. It came out about a week ago, but I wanted to wait until Comic-Con finished to kind of see if there was going to be any other news. So now I kind of have some stuff to talk about, unless of course tomorrow massive news comes out.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Talking about the new big projects that Toho is working on in the future. So we're going to talk about all that in this video. You might see it in the title. Shin Godzilla sequel is in the works, potentially. Now I know everyone's freaking out, going, oh my goodness, Shin Godzilla 2. Even I didn't believe that this would actually ever happen. I really thought that Shin Godzilla would just be a one-off thing. They're focused on Godzilla -1, so why would they do a sequel to Shin Godzilla? But apparently, according to an article from Bloomberg, Toho's international head Koji Ueda confirmed that Toho is planning a potential sequel to Shin Godzilla, but nothing seems to be set in stone just yet. That's what's in the article. People are saying, oh yeah, Shin Godzilla sequel announced, Shin Godzilla sequel is happening. Hold on. According to this, it's potentially happening and it's in planning. Now we don't know if that means it's in development, as in like they're working on the script, they're working on ideas, or they're in pre-production, as in they already have the script written and they're actually planning on filming it. I'm leaning more towards it's still in development. Production isn't even being planned yet. They're not even close to having like anything ready to start filming. They're just working on ideas right now. We do know that Hideaki Anno did start work very quickly on a Shin Godzilla sequel, just some rough ideas that he just kind of came up with, but nothing else really confirmed. I would say that, you know, let's wait and see what Toho announces. They do have a plethora of ideas, right? Like I said, Hideaki Anno did come up with something very quickly. There were concepts that they never got to. For example, I think Godzilla being able to fly was something that was they came up with concept art, but they never actually executed it. There are definitely many ideas that they could have for the Shin Godzilla sequel, but according to this, it just looks like they're in planning. Wait a little bit to see what happens. I do think people are just jumping on the hype train already, and it's like, let's see what happens first. What do I think myself personally? What's my opinion on a Shin Godzilla sequel? Honestly, I think Shin Godzilla, for me, I think it ended very well, and I really didn't expect it nor believe that it needed a sequel. And I like Shin Godzilla. I'm not trying to hate on it. I actually quite like Shin Godzilla. I saw it twice in theaters. I enjoyed it. I was pretty blown away by it. But it was very unique and interesting, and I don't think it needed a sequel. In fact, I'm glad Toho went and made -1 instead of making a Shin Godzilla sequel. I don't think it needed a sequel. To be fair, I would be excited to see a sequel. I'm obviously much more excited for the -1 sequel, but I would rather get something more of a classic Godzilla. But hey, I will check out Shin Godzilla, and there's a lot of cool things they could do with it, but this is where I worry a little bit. If you look at the concepts that Hideaki Anno came up with, where apparently Godzilla was supposed to evolve, and the film ends with the creatures coming out of his tail, the humanoid ones, and that would be kind of the next stage, and then possibly they would continue to evolve to combat humanity, and then even eventually evolve into some super being, and then eventually like a god. That's going a little too far for me personally, and that's my worry, that Shin Godzilla is going to go too far off the rails. I would love to see those humanoid creatures that are in his tail. I think they looked really cool. This gives me a little bit too much of the vibes of like Singular Point, if you remember the anime, where Godzilla is also like a multi-dimensional being that's like connected to the red dust, or he's like an amalgamation of the red dust in our dimension, and that he's like a god that's going to destroy the world, and then they stop him through time travel. I actually really still to this day don't understand what happened in Godzilla Singular Point. That's my worry. They're going to go something like that. You know, I would rather they focus kind of on the creepy aspect of Shin Godzilla in different forms. That's my thoughts on it. But I would love to see those humanoid monster things chasing people and eating people. I'd love to see Shin Godzilla continue to evolve, maybe into other monsters. Some people say he'll evolve into Shin Ghidorah. I think that'd be kind of silly, but he could grow wings. That could be cool. You know, there were some aspects of Singular Point that did that. That would be interesting. There's a lot they could do with it, and I look forward to what they come up with, but I'm a bit worried they might go overboard. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Shin Godzilla sequel. And like I said, it's in planning. Potentially. So I would say, you know, everyone should calm down a little bit. Obviously, we're G fans, we get hyped, but like, let's not get too crazy just yet. And then the other news that he talked about was, if you remember that promo video that came out for the 70th anniversary of Godzilla, that was like showing Godzilla in Southeast Asia, and it was kind of meant to like focus on Southeast Asia with Godzilla. Apparently they're working on a still untitled Southeast Asia focused project, and that has like those cool visuals with Godzilla and the green glow, and it kind of looks like a -1 Godzilla but slightly tweaked. Some people believe that's a film. I would say, according to the wording here, it's a project. That could be many things. Maybe something animated, it could be a show, some kind of like tie-in. There was the Shin Heroes thing as well, so I'm not exactly sure that it's going to be a movie. The fact that we're jumping in already calling it a movie, I'm not sure about that. And also, I worry that this could be leading us down the path of oversaturation of Godzilla films, like we're talking about now, a Shin Godzilla sequel, on top of the -1 sequel, Supernova, and then now some Southeast Asia-based project. So another movie. When are all of these coming out? That's the other thing too. I would guess if Shin Godzilla does happen, they greenlight it, they can probably make a movie once they greenlight it within 2 years. If they greenlight it this year and move fast, maybe by 2027 we could get a Shin Godzilla sequel. I don't know if that's realistic. I would say maybe more likely 2028. Actually, I don't think Legendary can let Toho release in the same year. They can be months apart, just not in the same year, I guess. But I think there was a rule that like they can't release in the same year. So I don't think Shin Godzilla 2 can come out in 2027. I think it would have to come out in 2028. That was a few years ago. Maybe the deal with Legendary and Toho has changed. I don't know if I want a Godzilla movie coming out at the end of 2026, then another one coming out in 2027, and then another one coming out at the end of 2027 or 2028. Like, and they're all different Godzilla films. They're not sequels. They're all different things. It's just like, okay, it's a little bit too much, and I think that could quickly lead to people being oversaturated. On top of that, I think they did recently announce that like the -1 sequel is probably looking to come out next year. Which makes sense. Like I said, I think we're heading towards a similar situation where, like with -1 and New Empire were a few months apart. I think it'll be similar where -1 sequel and Supernova will come out a few months apart. And then what, a few months after that, Shin Godzilla 2? And then a few months after that, the Southeast Asia project? And then what if -1 does well enough that they get -3? And then we don't know what Legendary is going to do with Godzilla after Supernova. That might very quickly oversaturate the moviegoers. We as G fans, we get everything. So we'll be excited. But my worry is that, they'll one market will be oversaturated and then they'll move to another one. I remember in the Millennium Era when they kind of made a Godzilla film every year, and that people started getting fatigue from it. And there's some great films in the Millennium Era that I think are very much underrated, but because they were coming out every year, people forgot about those movies. Like Tokyo SOS, I think, is a very underrated Godzilla film, but it came out at a time when they were making so many Godzilla movies that people were over it, People loved GMK, right? But also it came out at a time when people felt like there were too many Godzilla movies. So I worry we're heading down the same path. And then what ends up happening is after a while, once Godzilla stops making money at the box office, Toho just goes, okay, no more Godzilla movies. Well, if that does happen, I hope we don't have to wait 10 years again for another Godzilla film. I think right now the main thing will be next year, Godzilla -1 sequel, Legacy of Monsters sometime before then as well, and then Supernova next year. That's what's official. Then we'll see if Shin Godzilla 2 gets an official announcement that it's actually in production, and then whatever the Southeast Asia thing is. Also, look, we've got Godzilla video games to look forward to. That's very exciting. Like, I'm glad they're focusing on that. Godzilla video games for console, shall I say. I'm excited they're focusing on that, because I think instead of oversaturating us on movies, maybe focus on video games, because that's where Godzilla needs a bit of love. What do you all think? Are you looking forward to a Shin Godzilla sequel? And in general, are you excited for the possibility of way more Godzilla projects, or are you worried that this could oversaturate audiences and kind of lead people to lose interest in Godzilla, as has kind of happened before? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. So anyway, that's it for this video, and it's a bright era for Godzilla regardless. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.